Hello and welcome to this FPL Gameweek 9 Wildcard Team selection with me, Holly Shand. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my thoughts on the best team for those on Wildcard in Gameweek 9, and there's plenty of players to target in here, even if you aren't on Wildcard, so stay tuned. I'll also be sharing with you my review from Gameweek 8 and looking at my transfer plans ahead of the Gameweek 9 deadline. If you are new around here, hit that subscribe button and notify button and help me in my journey to 15k subs. Let's get into it. Starting in the goalkeeper position then, and right now with our fantasy budgets tight, I think it's important to try and pick a 4.5 million goalkeeper with none of the more expensive assets really delivering that much more consistency to warrant the extra outlay. And the player I've picked out is Crystal Palace's Vincent Guaita, because we're heading to a period of positive fixtures for the Eagles. Chelsea next up in Game Week 9 is a tough one, but after that it's a really nice run of fixtures to the World Cup break, including Leeds, Leicester and Wolves in the next 4 games. One clean sheet for Crystal Palace came in their last Premier League game, which was all the way back in Game Week 6. But we have seen a great number of saves from Guaita as well. 16 saves so far this season. And right now, if you want to spend 4.5 million on a goalkeeper, he is the best option to go for. Moving on to the defence then, and I believe right now that 3-4-3 is the optimal formation. So I've gone 3 expensive defenders here with a couple of cheapies sitting on the bench. And the first pick right now, I think, should be Chelsea's Reece James. Given his attacking prowess and also the advanced positioning, we've seen him under Graham Potter now in that right wing-back role, so he is a very good investment. Chelsea's fixtures are excellent, by the way, right up until the World Cup break. Crystal Palace, Wolves, Aston Villa and Brentford in the next 4 games. And Reece James already has a goal and an assist so far this season. 1 clean sheet from Chelsea. We do need to see an improvement on that, but they have got those trickier fixtures out of the way now. Now, in terms of which other premium defenders to go for, I've gone with João Cancelo here. I think it's really important to still be invested in that Manchester City defence. 4 clean sheets for him so far this season, as well as 2 attacking returns. He's wearing that number 7 shirt, which cannot get much better for FPL managers seeing a defender in that position. 7 bonus points as well so far this season, even in games where he hasn't got an attacking return. So for me, he's a must-have right now. And my third defender has to be Newcastle United's Kieran Trippier. 3 clean sheets in 7 for the Magpies now. Another player who has been in the attacking returns, a goal and an assist already. And we've seen him dominate for set pieces, as well as his involvement with crosses as well. But it's that set piece involvement which is really appealing. 5 crosses in Game Week 8 really is something to note. And you know, he's already scored 3 free kicks this calendar year for Newcastle. So the sky is the limit for him when it comes to his attacking potential. Looking to the midfield now then, and the big omission here is Liverpool's Mo Salah. Had a look at the fixtures for Liverpool: Brighton, Arsenal, Manchester City in the next 3 games. I just can't justify owning him on a wild card right now. I think it's perfectly acceptable to look elsewhere and look to get back on Liverpool assets in Game Week 12. You'll already see, I know we've got the blanks for Arsenal and Manchester City in Game Week 12. There's already 3 players from those clubs in my squad, but I don't think that's a problem. If you've got a strong bench, remember that you're still going to have 3 free transfers before Game Week 12 as well. And the likelihood is, with Arsenal and Manchester City's good fixtures after the blank in Game Week 12, that you're certainly going to want their players back in anyway. So if you can have 3 on your bench and maybe sell the 4th one for that fixture and then bring back in later, or even go with 10 players in Game Week 12, that's absolutely fine. So I've selected Kevin De Bruyne instead. Now, De Bruyne has 7 attacking returns this season to Salah's 5, and he is the supporting act for Erling Haaland right now, who's the top scorer in the Premier League and the top FPL asset so far this season. And I do think De Bruyne is going to be a really good pick going forward. It's difficult to know what to expect from the Manchester United game this weekend. We've seen both teams are certainly in form right now, but I do feel like Manchester City as Premier League champions should have the edge in this game, especially with it being on home turf. And I would not worry about playing your Man City assets in this fixture. I think it's perfectly acceptable to back them to deliver once again. Also in the midfield then, as I've mentioned, Arsenal's Gabriel Martinelli, 4 attacking returns so far this season. He looks to be consistent in terms of his minutes, his great value, and even though Arsenal's fixtures are turning for the worse now, Spurs, Liverpool, Leeds and then a blank in game week 12, I still think Martinelli will continue to chip away with those attacking returns. Now, the player that a lot of managers are most excited about going into game week 9 is Leicester's James Maddison, and I certainly think him getting on the score sheet in game week 8 definitely helped his appeal. But he looked really impressive in that game against Spurs. He had 7 shots on goal, which is great to see from him, and with Nottingham Forest at home up next, there's certainly potential for more attacking returns from him. 3 goals and an assist so far this season. He is a really exciting player to watch right now. And the final player I've picked out is Mo Salah. Now, in terms of underlying numbers, it's very difficult because he hasn't played since game week 6. So it's been a long break for him and Crystal Palace. But prior to that, he scored 4 goals in 5 starts in the opening 6 game weeks of the season. And as I already mentioned, the fixtures are looking very good for Crystal Palace. They had one of the toughest starts to the season, but now the schedule has certainly improved for them. Moving on to our forward lines now, and we have to start with Erling Haaland. 80.9% ownership at the time of recording. It's just phenomenal. Highest scoring player in FPL by a mile. He's on 73 points. The next highest is 50, 11 goals and an assist. He's just a must-have. But this is why I think it's really important to triple up on Manchester City right now, because everyone has Haaland. Most people are planning to captain him every week. And if you bring on board 2 other assets from this team, then you're more likely to capitalise on the goals that are brought by Haaland being central to this side. Another player that I think is really a must-have at the moment is Fulham's Alexander Mitrovic. A rare blank for him in game week 8, but 6 goals in 7 games plus a penalty missed just shows that he is able to carry that consistency that we saw in the Championship through to the Premier League this season. He scored 43 goals in 44 games in the Championship. And in terms of goals, where are they going to come from? Well, if you look at the upcoming run of fixtures, certainly over the next 6 for Fulham, it looks like really attractive reading. Newcastle, West Ham, Bournemouth, Aston Villa in the short term, followed by Leeds and Everton after that as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we were sat here in a month's time and Mitrovic is already on 10 goals for the season. Now, the final place in my forward line, and I think it's important to go with 3 forwards at the moment, given the fact that they're returning and given the news that Newcastle United's Alexander Isak has been sent home from international duty, going to miss the next couple of games. I think Ivan Toney is still a very good choice in FPL. 7 attacking returns from 7 starts. You can't argue with that. And again, the fixtures look very good. Bournemouth, Newcastle and Brighton, the next 3 games for the Bees. And we know how attacking they've been this season in terms of their goal scoring form. The amount of goals they're scoring is really, really impressive. I know Arsenal kept them out last time out, but Arsenal are a team in form right now. I think it was a very tricky fixture and I expect the return to the goal scoring form to come very soon for Toney. When it comes to the bench players then, I think you can still back Danny Ward as Leicester's starting goalkeeper to have on the bench. I wouldn't use him in a rotation. I don't think we've seen enough consistency to warrant him being anywhere near our starting 11s, but he's fine to have as a bench option just in case something happens to your main goalkeeper. If you are short on funds though, don't be scared to go with Daniel Iverson either, just to save that 0.1 million. Gone with a couple of cheap defensive options, but not absolute bog basic. I've gone with James Justin, who has 2 attacking returns so far this season. Obviously, Leicester not keeping clean sheets, but given the fixtures, I think it's fine to back him. Forest, Bournemouth, Crystal Palace and Leeds in the next 4. Hopefully we'll see some defensive improvement from Leicester soon, and hopefully some attacking returns from Justin. Is certainly taking up some good positions on the pitch. And another team that aren't keeping clean sheets but have got a cheap defensive option are Nottingham Forest with Neco Williams. An assist so far this season, certainly looks attacking. He's playing in that wing-back role, so surely those goals and assists will continue to come even if we don't see clean sheets. And then in midfield, I've still gone with Andreas Pereira. I think, Leon Bailey could be worth a look as our budget midfielder, but the thing is, he does seem to get his minutes managed a little bit. Neco Williams seems like a good bet. 2 assists already this season. It's been disappointing now to see Willian involved in quite a lot of Fulham set pieces, so that's something to keep an eye on, which definitely dents Andreas's appeal, but I still think that he could be a good option on Wildcard, taking us up to game week 16 and that World Cup break where we get those unlimited transfers. When it comes to my own team then, the wildcard was played in game week 8. That got me 54 points. Kevin De Bruyne leading the way in terms of his FPL points there. Some solid performances, and I'm pleased that I had a couple of players on my bench that are looking to come in for me when it comes to game week 9. When it comes to my transfer plans, probably the concern in my team right now is Emerson, who didn't start for West Ham back in game week 8. Hopefully that situation resolves itself, but with West Ham's heavy involvement in the Europa League, Conference League fixtures, that could continue. We saw in the midweek game he played as an attacking left wing back with Creswell at left back, so something to keep an eye on, but I'm going to hold him for now and hope that he comes good. I certainly want to roll the transfer this week and have 2 free transfers for next week. But in terms of my squad, I'm very pleased that a lot of the players that I've picked out for the wildcard squad are included here. There's just 2 or 3 differences in there. Team selection for this week, it kind of picks itself. Some tricky fixtures, certainly Man City at home to Manchester United could be a tough game for them. Arsenal hosting Spurs, another tricky fixture to navigate. I did look at maybe benching the likes of Zaha, but he's great against teams leading a high line. Certainly Martinelli could be one to deliver, even though that Spurs defence are very good. So Andreas is confined to the bench right now ahead of Williams and Emerson, and obviously Daniel Iverson will stay on the bench as well. Tentatively got the captain on Haaland, but I will discuss more on captaincy when it comes to next Friday's live stream. That comes at 12 o'clock midday UK time, so do not miss it. If you are new around here, like this video. Let's help me to smash 500 likes on this video. Hit the subscribe button and the notify. And any dilemmas on your own team ahead of game week 9, do get in the comments and I'll do my best to answer all of them ahead of the deadline. We've got another week to go. Thanks so much for all the support on the channel. I'll be back with the preview next Thursday. Bye for now.